because this is a new dimension for mankind. We are living on a two-dimensional surface, and this, in mathematical terms and reality, it's a third dimension, and everyone expects that this new dimension is a future for mankind. So there's a lot of things waiting for mankind, for the future of the people in space. Well, it's looking in the so-called infrared, which means at wavelengths we cannot see here from Earth because we have the atmosphere. So we need to go outward to space beyond the atmosphere to see these wavelengths. And only in these wavelengths, in infrared, we can things we cannot see on Earth, which is how is our universe developed just right after the Big Bang. How do a new star system develop? How do they start? And how are these small, very small planets are formed in a planetary system? And the only way to get an answer is to look into infrared, and this is the James Webb Telescope. Well, it must be a big one. You want to look for very tiny planets, so you need a very big aperture, which is a big lens, to see a radiation from these small planets. It must be in the infrared, as I said already, so to see the forming of a planetary system very far out. And we want to look very deep into space, that is to within our galaxy, in our Milky Way, to very far distant planetary system, which is why we need this very big system, which is why it's very expensive. We want to understand, are we alone in the universe? And a basic thing is there must be other small planets where other civilizations may habit. So we need to first see, are there other small planets like Earth? Have they the same, do they have water? Have they the same environment to have civilizations there? So this is the very first thing we have to do. And so we're just starting with understanding other planetary systems. Are there other planets? They are so-called habitable zones, which is certain distances to the central stars where water is liquid. So we have to understand, are there habitable zones in other star systems? And we need James Webb Telescope to understand this forming of different planetary systems. Oh, actually not a lot. The reason is we still have the same engines, so-called thermal or chemical engines. And they're still the most powerful ones we have. The reason is we want to get into deep space, so away from Earth. And Earth has a very strong gravitational potential, so we have to get out of there. And the only way to get out of this potential, the gravitational potential, is chemical engines. There's nothing else, say electrical engines or whatever, to get out this potential. So for a very, very long time, we will have to stick to these very conventional engines. When we are out in space, there are new engines like the electrical engines. So these are much more efficient. But as long as we're here on Earth, we need them. So actually, not a lot will change. What changes, however, is how they are produced. And this is why Elon Musk is so successful. What he did is to take these old engines, but produce them in mass production to get down the price. Well, yes, I could imagine. So artificial intelligence then will not be used, for example, to see what's there, but to guide the mission. For example, we want to go in our planetary system to Jupiter. There are some planets who may house liquid water and maybe even small, tiny bacteria. So artificial intelligence would be a way to guide the system to the planet and, for example, take a probe from this planet and see, are there very small molecules in there? And this, to figure out, you need a little bit of artificial intelligence. But, you know, artificial intelligence is more like to crunch big data sets. That is a lot of data. This is where artificial intelligence is more appropriate. So I think artificial intelligence is not a key thing for going to space, but more for having a lot of data and doing something with them. Well, the arc is really a way for hundreds of years to get to other star systems. We will do that only if our Earth will no longer provide our civilization. So this is a very far view into our future. The artificial intelligence is very important for helping us to build those, because it's highly complex to build these arcs, because it will be the most complex systems at all, not only from the material side, but also this is such a big system which houses millions of people. So you need, for example, a life support system, which is so unimaginable complex. You cannot do it just by imaging or people doing it alone. You need artificial intelligence. But as I said, this is in the very, very far future, and then most probably we will have artificial intelligence. Spaceflight is both manned and unmanned spaceflight.
Okay.
So unmanned spaceflight means going to the boundaries of our solar system, and the boundary is Pluto and maybe even beyond, which takes decades, many decades. We cannot do it by manned missions. So the manned missions are limited to the closest planets to Earth, which is most importantly Mars, maybe the asteroids, which are just beyond Mars a little bit. Going manned beyond this asteroid doesn't make sense at all. It doesn't make sense to go to Jupiter or Saturn. These are gas planets. So manned exploration is always limited to Earth and Mars and the Moon. So we have to focus in particular on artificial intelligence for unmanned missions to go to other planets. When kids are at school, they see the maps of the world, and the maps looks almost the same. There is France, Germany, Poland, Italy, Spain, and you see the borders between these nations. And usually every nation has a different color to see the differences. If you're in space and look down on Earth, you don't see a nation, you don't see different colors. There's only one continent, namely Europe, Asia, North America, South America, Africa. That's all you can see, and a lot of water. So you really see and understand there's nothing which separates us. There are no borders, nothing like that. They are just the boundaries of a continent, nothing else, which makes you understand that we all belong together. There is nothing which separates us. And this is very important to see it directly with your own eyes. So tourism, space tourism is so important for me. So everyone can see it by his own eyes, not reading my book or looking at the picture. It makes such a big difference. Or you know what? Which is technology and science. Technology and science brings us together. I just this morning had a Skype with Russia, a very big Russian university, Caltech. And talking with these scientists doesn't make a difference talking to US university or Indian. It doesn't make any difference. It's just like to talk to a good friend. So, and this I think is the most important thing, that we talk to universities. A student will come here, Karina, it's her name. She will come here in September for stay for 3 months. And this makes a big difference, that the students and thus the people from all nations by science and technology come together. and then the boundaries are destroyed by this communication. No. No, there are many more civilizations in space. There is no question about it. And I wrote it all in my book. However, other civilizations are so far away that we will never meet them. And I say never. So practically, we are alone. But from the knowledge, we are not. You see? And this is a little bit maybe depressing, but these are the facts. Who is advocating to have a rocket always in place, so if there's an asteroid trying to destroy our Earth, we have to go with a rocket there with an atomic bomb in order to destroy the asteroid, because big asteroids can destroy humankind here on Earth. And it happened 65 million ago, and we know already it will happen also in the future. We don't know when, but it will. So we have to be ready. It's one of the biggest tasks of spaceflight to have a rocket to destroy asteroids which are dangerous to us. Well, there are two questions actually. The first question is, was life on Mars independent from Earth? We don't have an answer to this yet, and this is the reason why we want to go to Mars and have a look there. The second is whether we could colonize Mars. Yes, there is science and technology saying that it's possible. However, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of time. It takes thousands of years to do that, but we can do it. And in view of the fact that the next asteroid destroying Earth may take another many thousand, 10,000 of years, we have lots of time to terraform Mars. This is the technical term for it. So we can do it in the next thousands of years, and if then an asteroid is about to destroy Earth, we could go to Mars and live there. But really, this is a very long-term future idea.